Oh, what is the upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXGamerCast. We're on episode 106 of my little gaming show where once a week I just has to talk about video games, whether they're new games that I'm playing right now or old games that I grew up with. It don't matter. Video games. So, this is a big one for me. I've been very excited to finally talk about Metal Gear Solid 5, which has been on my backlog list for ever since it came out, basically. I did play the game when it came out, and I think something else caught my attention. I really just don't even remember why I lost interest in Metal Gear Solid 5, because now I absolutely adore it. I got through this game, and I will be reviewing Metal Gear Solid 5. Does this game still hold up today? And the biggest question, is it the best Metal Gear Solid game in the franchise? I mean, I have played Metal Gear Solid 1 through 5 now. Outside of that, I mean, I played Metal Gear Solid VR missions on PlayStation 1. I played that as a kid. I had no idea what I was doing. I haven't even played Peace Walker, sadly. I do have it, but I haven't played it yet. Anyway, that's going off on a tangent, but before we get into the Metal Gear Solid 5 talk, we're going to talk about what I've been up to over the last week or so, and I always encourage you, the viewer, the listener, let me know what you've been up to over the last whatever amount of time. What video games are you playing right now? There's a lot of games out there right now. That Black Myth Wukong has been grabbing a lot of attention. Anyone playing that game right now? I personally am not, but some people at work have been talking to me about that game. I'm like, all right, I see you. You watching any movies? Have you seen any good shows lately? Let me know. And I'm going to let you know right now what I've been doing. So, we have, in terms of television, my wife and I are still watching The Challenge World. It's really fun. It's a good one. It's one of the big seasons for The Challenge. It's basically an all-star event. It's champions versus legends, and they're teaming up with each other. It's drama-filled, of course. It's that MTV. It's a bit of junk food for me, honestly. It's not, like, extremely compelling. It's dramatic. It's fun. The challenges are good. And, yeah, man, just enjoying the challenge while I play some Switch handheld games on the side, but that's a fun one. I finished off Always Sunny, Season 16. Damn, son. So the finale of that season is, God damn it. Dennis takes a mental health day. Holy shit, that episode is phenomenal. So Dennis is, I draw a lot of similarities to Dennis. Aside from the way that he treats women, I'm almost identical to Dennis sometimes. I flip out. I have these... when I get angry, I go on these, like, very sarcastical rants, which generally make my wife she just breaks out laughing. So, I had a great time with that episode. That was an awesome episode. If you're not into Always Sunny, like, come on now. It is an all-time show this season itself, the entirety. I thought it was really good. All the episodes were good. I giggled throughout the whole entire thing. None other than the finale stood out as like, oh man, that's an all-timer right there. But it was good throughout. I'd hit it with like a 7.5 out of 10 for season 16 of Always Sunny. But let me know, are you an Always Sunny fan? What's your favorite episode? Me personally, it's probably the McPoyles. Like anything with the McPoyles, I love the episode where they take the bar hostage, and that episode is so funny. And even an earlier one, I think it's before that, the McPoyles show up at the what do you call them, the tailgate, and Charlie and Frank accidentally do a bunch of LSD, and oh my gosh, that episode is so freaking funny. So hit me with your favorite Always Sunny episodes. Oh, also shout out the episode where they're stuck in the closet trying to rob this house, trying to steal this expensive vase, and then this family has like a whole family like breakdown. The wife is cheating, and it's just this whole thing, and they're trapped in the closet. They're like, yo, we got to get out of here somehow. Oh my god. Okay, I'm not gonna get into it. Damn, at this point I could do an Always Sunny in Philadelphia podcast. That would be sick. Maybe one day, if I ever am able to not have to do a real job and do this full time, I would 100% do an Always Sunny podcast. That'd be sick. There's probably a bunch of them out there. Anyway, finish that off. back to Wrexham. Finally got back to Wrexham. I went on a little bit of a detour on a bunch of other shows, and I was like, yo, I gotta get back to Wrexham. So I'm back into Wrexham, watched another episode or two, and yeah, it's just great. I have 2 more episodes remaining, and yeah, man, I have nothing but positivity to say about Wrexham, because it's such a positive show, man. Again, when you're if you have a bad day at work, go home, watch some Wrexham. It's such a cheerful show. It always puts me in a good mood, and yeah, I love it. Great show. Now let's talk. So I have some shit to say. I've been watching South Park, y'all. I'm a massive South Park fan. I have been watching it since the 90s. As a child that should not have been watching South Park, I was watching South Park way too young, but pretty much lifelong fan of South Park. And recently, like pre-COVID, and it's been a minute since like I've really enjoyed South Park. The whole Integrity Farm thing, PC Principal, I really don't like PC Principal. And there's been like a lot of things I've missed in South Park. I haven't caught up on a lot of the specials that they have. So getting to that, I have been watching South Park season 25, and I've watched the first 2 episodes. Not gonna lie, not that good. I don't think I laughed once, and they just weren't funny. I didn't like the theme of the episodes were kind of and yeah, they just weren't funny. I don't know. I think they're just like going too long. Like the Integrity Farm thing, it's kind of like changed Randy and put him in a box. And that's what I really loved about Randy Marsh. It's like, oh, what wacky thing is he going to get into this time? And like whenever he shows up in an episode. And now every time Randy's around, he's just going to be talking about Integrity Farms. And I don't know, man. So far, really not digging South Park season 25. But only 2 episodes in, so it just might be a rough start. And this is all like after COVID, so I don't know what the hell's going on. But didn't like it so far. But my wife and I, we watched one of the South Park specials, The End of Obesity. I think it's one of the newer ones, and we did enjoy that. I laughed a lot throughout that one. It was kind of more back to basics South Park formula a little bit, so yeah, it was enjoyable. Wasn't fucking incredible or anything like that, but yeah, it's like a good 2-part episode series of South Park. It was nice. It was very nice. Not one of their best, series episodes. Like Imagination Land is always going to be a top tier for me. There's other ones, but anyway, Imagination Land is just the one that I've watched so many times. But yeah, again, is it just me, or is South Park like starting to decline, and maybe has been in decline for a little bit? Again, I might be wrong. There's other specials, like there's the Panda Wars, I think. I haven't watched that one yet. There's a bunch, man. There's quite a handful of them, but yeah, recently I don't know, just haven't really been liking it, and I'm avoiding the COVID season. Like I'm just not going to watch it, because I don't want to go back to the COVID thing. I don't want to be reminded of how all that was going down. I just kind of want to black that out from my memory, so I'm not watching that season. There might be some gems in there, sure, maybe, I don't know. Not going to watch it, so no spank you. Let me know. Is South Park declining? Let's talk about some video games before we get into talking about video games. Still playing quite a bit of Mario Kart 8, man. I still have the bug pretty damn hard right now with Mario Kart 8. Loving it. Still getting through the all the 200 cc's. I almost got them all done now. There's like kind of the last ones. I'm struggling getting the gold on them, but I'm having a blast, man. And then I got to do the mirror cup, so I'm holding that one off so it can be kind of save the mirror for dead last, so I'm as most familiar with going my proper way, and then mirror just will throw me the fuck off. And then I might dive into online. I don't know. I am absolutely horrified of Nintendo Online. People are so good at Mario Kart, but man, I might go in there. It might be a lot of fun. So anyway, playing Mario Kart 8, still highly enjoying that. And, okay, so here's my new baby. After I am actually still playing Metal Gear Solid 5. Still just kind of finishing off side missions, still playing it. It's, for me, a nice game I can listen to a podcast to, bang out some side missions, so I'm still playing Metal Gear Solid 5, but the main story is done, of course. But my new baby is a secret. I am not going to tell you, but it will be a episode of the GXGamerCast at some point, probably in a couple weeks when I get through it. It's not a very long game, and it is a game that I have covered before. This game has it's a trilogy series now, and I've done the first game in this franchise, and now I'm going to do the second game, but I'm playing that one right now, and oh baby, am I ever happy to be back. I think I played the first game last year, so that's enough hints. I'm not giving you any more hints. If you get it, I will buy you a sandwich. I will buy you a sandwich. No chips. You're not getting any chips. No chips at all. But yeah, playing that game. My wife and I played a little bit of Sackboy's Big Adventure. I don't know why I said that so weird. My apologies, but I did. And yeah, that one is me. My wife was like, oh, do you want to play some more Moving Out? I'm like, how about we finish Sackboy's Big Adventure so I can get that 60 gigabytes off my PlayStation, please and thank you. I was like, we've been playing this game for like 2 years. Like, we got to finish this thing, please. And she's like, all right. So we played a few levels, and yeah, it's a solid, okay time. Like, the first level we played, getting back to it, they had Britney Spears' Toxic playing, and I looked over at my wife, and she was into it. I'm like, oh yeah, I got her. I got the hook in her, so that's good. We're playing a little bit of that, and I made a little purchase on the Switch. This War of Mine. I don't know. It was $2, and it looked interesting. It sounded cool. Sounded like it was kind of like a management type. I don't know. It just looked really cool. I don't really know anything about it. It had like an 80 on Metacritic. I'm like, yeah, dude, for $2. It looks like a great type of game to play handheld on the Switch, so I picked it up for $2. It may still be $2, so if you're a This War of Mine person and you haven't gotten it yet, check it out on Switch, $2. All right, so yeah, that's everything I've been doing. Goodness, we got through it all, so there you go. Let me know what y'all have been doing, and oh baby, it is time to talk about Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Let's do this. Oh baby, I love Metal Gear Solid. If you have listened to the episode of my, I think it was the 10 or 15 favorite franchises, Metal Gear Solid is most certainly in there, and it may even be higher now because I've played this game, which has been a little bit of a black spot on the history or the series of Metal Gear Solid for some people. And maybe that's why I've stayed away from it for a little bit. I did purchase this game day one. I have the day one edition of this game. I don't think I bought it day one. I don't know. All I know is that I was extremely hyped for Metal Gear Solid 5 when it came out. It got a 10 out of 10 from IGN. I knew, 10 out of 10s were, still fairly prestigious out of IGN. They're still pretty prestigious now. And that just got me extremely hyped. I was huge on Metal Gear Solid 4. I still defend Metal Gear Solid 4 to this day. There's an episode way, way back there on Metal Gear Solid 4. And yes, I know the cutscenes are 8 hours long, but I loved them. And hey, there's no 8-hour cutscenes in Metal Gear Solid 5. There's no record-breaking long cutscenes here. There are some cutscenes, but definitely not as many cutscenes as maybe Metal Gear Solid fans are used to. And that might be something we're going to be discussing about this game. Is it really a Metal Gear Solid game? Does it hold enough trueness? Does it feel enough like a true Metal Gear Solid game? And why am I asking that question? Well, this game takes quite the drastic shift in gameplay style. We go from kind of not necessarily linear, but kind of level to level stealth-based gameplay to an open world. I know, just put it down, settle down. It's an open world game, but this is back, 2015 when this game came out, so this is kind of when everyone was doing an open world thing. But I must say, when I heard about this one going up open world, I was like, yeah, that sounds like it will work amazingly for Metal Gear Solid. Now, the big problem is my history, my problem with open world games, outside of they're incredibly fun. They're generally incredibly fun games, but when it comes to open world games and being able to tell a story, it's generally often a miss. There's too much gameplay going on between story moments. So that's kind of something that this game is also suffering from. There isn't a good enough connection from story moment to story moment in between all this incredible gameplay. So I am doing a review here for Metal Gear Solid 5. I won't be spoiling anything in terms of the main story. We're going to kind of gloss over the story. I will touch on... Okay, so we'll just kind of rip this Band-Aid off now. I am aware of the whole Kojima and Konami breakup. It was very ugly. It was not good. Hideo Kojima, that is the cheese. I hope I'm not messing that one up. But regardless, the legend, the creator of Metal Gear Solid, the series, and at the end of it, it was a nasty breakup, and he's gone. This is a long time ago. He's on to so many things now. So the breakup at the end of the development of this game, and people were always talking about the drastic drop off in quality of the game in the last part, or the last half, or last back third. There's a variety of people varying of when this game drops off in quality. Personally, I didn't see it. I didn't see a drastic drop off in quality. Yes, the ending of the story is a little bit very twisty, very just like, okay. So all we'll talk about in terms of the story is like, where are we, what we doing, and stuff like that. But yes, I do realize that there was the nasty breakup between Konami. It is Konami, right? For goodness sakes. Yes. Okay, we're good. It's Konami. I'm okay. We're okay. Don't worry about it. So anyway, where are we taking place? So you are playing as Venom Snake, and another big part of the history of this game is that the legendary voice actor for Snake in all of the games, he is no longer he's not the voice actor anymore. They upgraded, for some people, I mean, he is a well-known actor, Kiefer Sutherland. He was in, 24? Never watched it, but I was a little bit heartbroken. I love David Hayter, man. He will always be my Snake. No offense to Kiefer Sutherland, but he is never, ever going to be the voice of my Snake. But he's the voice of this Snake, Venom Snake. So this is taking place after the events of Metal Gear Solid 3 and before the events of Metal Gear Solid 1. So it's like the 70s, 80s. That's kind of where this time frame is. So I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. That got me very interested. Like, Metal Gear Solid 3 is, at least like story-wise, impact-wise, that is my favorite Metal Gear Solid in the entire franchise. I cried like a baby, and it was a whole thing. It was a whole situation. I did not cry once throughout this game. So we'll get to that. But it's taking place in Afghanistan, and eventually you kind of move over to Africa, and you can go in between Africa and Afghanistan. So very cool location. I mean, Africa, a beautiful place, an absolutely beautiful place. And of course, Afghanistan, I know people don't necessarily think about Afghanistan and its beauty, but like in this game, man, oh my goodness, Afghanistan, the colors and the bright blue sky. I guess I'm kind of slipping into graphics and stuff like that here, but this game still looks absolutely sensational. I mean, why not? It's in the HD 4K era, and I'm playing this on my PlayStation 5, so I imagine it's running a little bit better than it would on PlayStation 4, but this game kicks ass in terms of the way that it looks. There's nothing that pops more and looks more stunning than just a sunny blue sky, clear blue sky day, and you're out in the Afghan just desert, I don't know what the hell it is, and you're in the mountains and just the sand, and it's gorgeous, man. Like for something that doesn't have all that much color going on, like, yeah, there's some trees here and there, and there's animals roaming around, and obviously militants all over the place, but it's a fucking damn fine looking game. So sorry I'm going all over back and forth here, but kind of like what you're doing here, like what's the mission of this game is, well, essentially you're trying to, so you wake up after you're in a coma. You start the game, this really wild intro to the game that I have played 3 or 4 times now, because I have started and stopped Metal Gear Solid 5 2 or 3 times now. The first time I played it, got about 15 hours into it, had a good run, then fell right off. Tried it again, got a handful of hours in, no good. Did the same thing, tried it on Xbox this time, no good. And then this time, again, back on PlayStation 5. We got a winner, folks. Sometimes it happens. I had the same thing with The Witcher 3. But the mission in Metal Gear Solid 5 is you're trying to stop these people called the Skulls. And you were waking up after a coma you've been in for 9 years, and you have to rebuild your army, you got to rebuild your base, get all your assets back together so that you can take down this fucking terrible people that are going to try and spread this virus and kill everybody, essentially. So yeah, bad guys doing bad things, you the big bad boss, you gonna go take them down. That's the thing. But now you're just set off into this open world Afghanistan and Africa, and it is... my goodness, is it ever something special, I must say. So, I think I talked about everything that I want to talk about in terms of, like, you know, glossing over the story. Like I said, not going to be doing spoilers, not going to go into depth with that stuff. I will be talking about moments, like some bigger moments, but again, just glossing over, not going to ruin the whole entire thing for you. So let's get back to the graphics. We're talking there. So, like I said, Afghanistan, it's more deserty, there's a lot more sand, and they have these fantastic sandstorms that come around. It'll be a weather report like, sandstorm incoming. And this bitch will roll in within 10-15 seconds. They are not kidding when that thing is coming in. And the sand effects are really nice. I don't remember that. I think it was like the Insurgency or something like that, or Spec Ops The Line maybe, that had like their whole thing with sand physics. I'm not going to say it's on that level. Like you're not like shooting the sand is like sliding down. But it looks great. It really, really looks great, especially in the sunlight. It also has like a full daytime, nighttime cycle, so you can sit there and you can smoke a cigar through the whole entire day cycle. And nighttime, it obviously doesn't pop as much as daytime. Nice bright sunny days, that's when the game looks the best. And I would say you're probably playing the game at that time frame the least, because the easiest time to play is at night. You're harder to see and all that great stuff. But at night, the game still looks good. The shadow effects are really nice. I mean, there's a lot to be impressed about, like I said, and the lighting. The lighting, the shadow effects are really impressive. The characters look good. Like, they're not, like, Metal Gear has always been, like, that's kind of what was so impressive about Metal Gear Solid 1 on PlayStation 2, is that it ran on just, like, a consistent engine. There was no, cutting away for cutscenes. It was just all run in the same engine, which was, like, whoa, man, back in the day, that was crazy, and it has aged like milk. I played it back in 2005, and it looked like shit. So I can only imagine how bad it looks now. It's laughable. It's laughably ugly. But hey, this game looks great. It does the same thing. It runs the cutscenes in the same engine that you're playing on, so it's just seamless. Runs fantastically. There are load times. They're not bad on PlayStation, but it isn't instantaneous. So it didn't bother. It was not to the point that, like, oh, I have to pick up my phone and, like, I'm looking through shit. It was quick enough. I had no what do you call it? Performance issues whatsoever. No crashes, anything like that. The game runs great. No complaints there. It's a beautiful looking game still today. And yeah, man, numerous times I was just looking at the vistas. You get these you're just on top of a cliffside and you're just looking over, and it's just, it's really nice, man. I was very, very impressed. So in terms of the sound design, we talked about the voice acting of David Hayter not being in this game anymore. So that's just got to shout out my boy. And I don't think he had any cameo appearance, unless I may have missed it. I didn't hear his voice. It's very iconic. I just fucking, man, I love that guy so much. But Kiefer Sutherland, he does a good job, man. Like, he's a professional. He came in, he did a good job, man. He really did. When you get to the end of the story, I'm actually, like, way happier with, like, kind of the voice change. It, like, in a way, sorts, like, kind of makes sense. I'll leave it at that. But, Kiefer Sutherland, I got respect for that, man. He crushed it in 24. He did a good job, man. Like, going forward, if he's going to continue to being the voice, I won't be mad about it. But I was impressed. Everyone else's voice acting was really good. The only person I have a problem with in terms of like the characters is Doc Emmerich, which is a shame because he's generally a pretty awesome, like especially in Metal Gear Solid 4. Doc was the homie, man. Like he was so useful and helpful, giving you all these great tools and info and intel, great stuff. In this game, he's just a fucking dink. I don't like Doc at all. And he's just an annoying character. His voice work is fine. The voice work throughout is just dandy. And there's a lot of languages because you're in Afghanistan and Africa, so there's like people speaking different languages, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff. So that's all very impressive. I also really enjoy just like the general sound effects of the game are also fantastic. Like the bombs falling down on you, the grenades sound great, smoke bombs. Just the sound of like being in a war zone, like helicopters and shit. Just it sounds great, man. It absolutely sounds great. I also enjoy like listen, like you have intel and everything, so you can like hear in on the enemies talking to each other on the radios, and I really love their interactions. Like it's on point. Like they're like, oh, we saw a guy over here. Like we're going over here. God, and we're here. All right, there's nothing over here. Let's scatter around, and it's all like on point. And it makes sense. They're not just like, oh, I don't even really know where I'm going with that, but it's awesome, man. That's what's special about Metal Gear Solid. They have all these it's the little details. There's so much little fucking attention to detail to these games that are just so fucking good. And I can't even, I've heard of, I need to look up some of the videos on YouTube of what people have done in Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, oh, I can only imagine. I just didn't want to like steal their ideas. I wanted to try and come up with my own fun, but yeah. I've heard that there's some crazy things you can do. So, in terms of the music in this game, it's good. It's great even. I think the music is very, very good. Like I said, it's great. It's kind of the only thing that I have a problem with, it just doesn't have like my Metal Gear Solid theme, man. It doesn't have that dun dun na 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 na. There's none of that. And like that gives me the chills. Like, and I didn't have that song. It kind of goes for like a little bit more generic-y, like Call of Duty music a little bit at times. At times I can get it like loses itself in the background. It's just kind of going. It's not very special. There was a couple of songs that most certainly stood out to me, but they were like real songs, like the Man Who Sold the World, the Nirvana cover at the beginning, like. It's a damn good song. So, like, yeah, they have songs. There's also, like, while you're playing throughout the game, you'll run into a base or something, and they'll have a cassette player playing. And it's like an 80s jam. Like, the Final Countdown is just playing, and you can pick it up, and you can collect, like, 80s hits all throughout the game. So they have a good variety of some of the 80s music, but that's not, like, playing actively maybe you can play it actively obviously in certain parts you can. I don't know if you can during the gameplay or anything, but regardless, I don't know, the music at times just gets a little generic, a little lost in the background. It just didn't hit normal like a real Metal Gear Solid does. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it just didn't hit the feel. I didn't get that nostalgia with the music at all. No kind of classic themes. It got close. There is kind of a Snake Eater like song, like a Bond epic, female performance song. It is a good song. That is a damn nice song. It's I forget, it might be like Sinister Sins, I think might be the name of the song. You can look it up. Just look up the original soundtrack for Metal Gear Solid 5. You'll find it in there. There are some jams, like I said, but doesn't get up to that like all-time level for me like some of the other Metal Gear Solids, especially Metal Gear Solid 4, where they kind of play all the Metal Gear Solid songs kind of in a, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I just didn't feel a nostalgic love in the soundtrack in Metal Gear Solid 5, but it does its part, man. It absolutely does its part. It's not bad at all. I think it's great, honestly. I think the music is great. So now we get to the bread and butter of this game, and that is the damn gameplay. Oh, baby. So time and time again, I hear back in the reviews, I still hear it very consistently today. Like whenever people talk about like fantastic gameplay, all-time fun gameplay, Metal Gear Solid 5 gets brought up quite often. And like I understand that it is an incredibly fun game. Now I fully understand it. Now that I've actually played the game, unlocked more of the tools and the gadgets and all this great shit. So I'm going to try and do my best to try and get you through all this gameplay stuff, because there's a lot of stuff they give you to play. The greatest thing I think about Metal Gear Solid 5 is the freedom of this game. The freedom is absolutely insane. But at the beginning, obviously, you're a little bit limited. You have woken up from this 9-year coma. You have not been in action for a long time. You can't even walk at the beginning of the game. It's insane. Oh, also, a very cliche thing at this point, you have a robotic arm. You lost your hand and it got replaced with a nice fancy robotic hand. But hey, this is back 2015, so maybe this was one of the earlier times that this happened. But goodness gracious, how many freaking games have come out, especially from PlayStation? I'm really looking at you for this one, but fucking people with the mechanical arm, even fucking Link did it in Breath of the Wild, or Tears of the Kingdom, he had a mechanical hand. It's like, fuck, everyone has one. So, yeah, I guess everyone one day is going to have mechanical hands. But you have a mechanical hand in Metal Gear Solid 5, and it's actually badass. You can, level it up. It can do some fucking really cool shit. Let me just throw them at you right here. One of the coolest things it can do, it can become a rocket punch. Oh, yeah, bitch. You can fucking just, from 150 yards, 300 yards, hiding behind a rock, just shoot off a little fist, and you can control the fist, and you just punch a guy in the face, and he's done. That's it. He's knocked the fuck out. And I'm like, that is so freaking cool. And that is just one of many, 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 many awesome little gadgets that they are giving you. So let's try and break it down. Trying to break it down here. So this is a stealth third-person action open-world game, which, like I said, is a first for the series. Not the third-person. It's always been a third-person action game, but the open-world part is the first of its time. So in this game, you basically, almost, not really in a Call of Duty way, but you pick your missions from, your base. You pick missions from the helicopter mostly. You got this fucking helicopter that can be upgraded with fucking missiles and armor, and you can customize everything, dude. You can customize... Oh, man, okay, we'll get into it. I'm trying not... there's just so much that it'll launch me off into another little subcategory, but we'll slow down. So it is a stealth game, but this one more than any of the Metal Gears. You can always, it doesn't have to be stealth, but stealth is encouraged. It'll make it an easier time for you if you can do it stealth. Until you get to Metal Gear Solid 5. You can go guns a-blazing in this one more than any of them. The weaponry that they give you, one of my personal favorite weapons that I'm playing with in my arsenal that's kind of always around is my little noob tube, my little missile launcher, my little grenade launching thing. It is fantastic. I can shoot people from massive distances. It's basically one-shot kill for anybody. It's awesome. So you're getting ridiculous weaponry. And yeah, of course, this game encourages stealth. Yeah, if you want to get through it stealthily, you'll get rewarded better if you can get through missions without being spotted, without killing anybody. But if you want to fucking kill people, bro, oh my god, is it ever a fun-ass playground to just torture these poor soldiers at times. Oh my goodness, the traps you can set up for these people. They give you so many gadgets. They give you so much to play with. There's so much creativity. It's amazing, man. I think without a doubt, I think it's safe and easy to say this is hands down the best and funnest gameplay in the Metal Gear Solid franchise, without a doubt. The old ones, 1, 2, 3, those are a little hard for me to go back to because the controls are really aged. For Metal Gear Solid 1, I'm not a graphics guy, but that game looks like fucking shit. And it's a little hard. For me, it's so bad it's good. When you're watching the cutscenes, quote, with quotations, on the PlayStation 1 back then, and their faces have 4 pixels to it, and they're like, hey, this is crazy. We have to save the world. And you're just this is fucking ridiculous. Anyway, I don't even know where I'm at anymore in terms of what I'm talking about, but the creativity is just fantastic. And you're choosing loadouts and you're doing all that shit. So, they kind of break it down. They break it down into, you have your main missions, kind of classic open world stuff. You have your main missions, which are the story-based things. You have side missions where you can go off all over the open world. There's so fucking many side missions, man. Like, but it doesn't overwhelm you. They're not like all available to you, but I think there's like fucking 250, 300 side ops that you can do. And don't worry, they're all like, you can get some of them done in a minute. You can get some of them done in like maximum, I think the side, like if you're having a bad time with one, like 10 minutes maybe maximum to get through them. The side missions are really fun and easy. They're simple things like extracting a prisoner. You'll roll up on a base. There's maybe like 6 guys. You can take them out. You can kill them all. There's so much to do with them. It's so fucking amazing, man. You save the prisoner. You can go save soldiers. Like, people will get, like, your own soldiers will get captured. And that's like another big thing. We'll get to that. But another big thing is like rebuilding your army. And you can recruit soldiers in the field and shit like that. So it's, oh my goodness, there's just so freaking much. But with the main missions, they're similar. It's like prisoner extractions, finding special intel. They're just on a bigger scale. You'll generally be going into like bigger facilities with a lot more people, probably higher power weaponry around, maybe a tank or something like that. Wink, wink. But anyway, you'll start out. You can pick your loadout, and with the loadout at the beginning of the game, like I said, you're fairly limited. Like, you've just woken up, most of your assets are gone, but you start to rebuild your resources and assets. You're bringing in more people, and your intel stuff your research and development team, they will increase, and then you can start unlocking weapons to research, and then you'll have more weapons to have in the field. And the weapons, tons of weapons to use. You got pistols, tons of pistols. They even have like throwbacks to some of the old classic pistols throughout the Metal Gear Solid games that you can play with, like the revolver, or Ocelot's revolver. I played with that a whole bunch. Of course, you have the iconic, the tried and true, what the hell do you call it? The fucking, it's the little silent dart pistol that you can knock them out. God damn, I don't even know what the hell it's called. Dart gun? Good lord. I don't know what's wrong with me, but that gun is, that's the one I use the most. I love using the dart gun to put people asleep. There's, in terms of, like, there's a lot of funky weapons, too. They have this grenade pistol that shoots off little grenades. That thing was wicked. They have shotguns, a good variety of shotguns. Short, little shoddy. I think it's even called shoddy, like this little sawed-off shotgun. That one's fun. Automatic shotguns. You got tons of rifles, lots of rifles, and like I said, there's lots of customization as well. The more you level up the weapons, the more stuff you can unlock for certain weapons, like red dot sights. You can get better scopes. I think you can get like flashlights, suppressors, that kind of stuff. I think bigger magazines, shit like that. You get some big fun weapons like the grenade launchers. Like I said, there's a good variety of little grenade launchers to play with, like the Thumper. Then you get like the big heavy weapons for taking out like air support. You get RPGs, and then you get like the big fancy freaking air rocket stuff, anti-missile shit. Oh my goodness, what else is there? I said shotguns. They have light machine guns that you can play with. And then in terms of the toys, oh my goodness, you got grenades, flashbangs, smoke bombs, claymores. One of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites is the decoy. It's exactly what it is. You can throw them down, and you'll pop up a balloon that looks just like you, and the fucking enemy will go over to it and interact with it, and they're like, oh, fuck, it's a balloon, and it'll distract them. I love the decoy, and there's a bunch of them, too. You get upgraded versions of the decoy. One of them will start talking, and to make more noise, it'll draw more enemies over to it. The best one, obviously, there's one that gets electrified, and if the guy comes over and touches it, it'll electrocute him, it'll stun him, and then you can do whatever the hell you want with them. So I love the decoys, because of course there's always the option of not killing anybody in Metal Gear. There's weapons that, like I said, the dart gun, you can put people to sleep. They also have like these riot control weapons. They shoot the rubber bullets. I never used that. I never did actually use those, but they have those in every variety. There's even a light machine gun that shoots freaking rubber bullets. So that could be a lot of fun. So they have a whole arsenal of weapon weaponry for not killing anybody, but you can go ahead and kill if you want to, you crazy bastard. I was killing people like crazy in this game. Like, I'm decent at Metal Gear Solid. I'm not a master, but I'm decent at stealth games. I've played most of the Metal Gear Solid games and some other stealth games. I'm a big fan of stealth games. And like I said, if you aren't a fan of stealth games, this is a great one to maybe get you into it. This is a great one to dip your toe into because it's so free and honestly quite forgiving. For example, if you are going through an area, you're creeping and you're crawling, trying your best, you're crawling through the grass, and a guy sees you, but it gives you tons of options. Like let's say he spots you, he'll be like, oh, and like a little warning sign will come up. He'll come check it out. And then if he does see you, if he actually sees you, it'll go into a slow-mo mode, and you'll have like 5 to 10 seconds-ish to deal with it. You can rather shoot him in the face, you can dart him in the face and put him to sleep quickly before he alerts anybody. If you're close enough, you can run up to him and grab him and knock him out. You absolutely have that in your option. You can just use CQC, close quarter combat, CQC, yeah, close quarter combat. That's where you use your hands. You can fucking taekwondo a bitch down, knock them out cold. You can obviously fucking choke them out. That's the main one. And if you do grab them for a choke, you can interrogate your prisoner before you knock them out or kill them, whatever you want to do. And you can draw out some information. They'll tell you about maybe a special weapon that might be hiding around at this base. They'll tell you maybe where the prisoner is at. They might tell you where a special soldier might be, like a dude that's fucking specialized in something. You might want to go grab him or kill him or do something with him. So you can get some information out of people and you could just kill them. You can do anything you want with these people. And we'll talk about the funnest thing in a little bit when we talk about Mother Base, but yeah, before you even get in the mission, you just have this like huge arsenal of toys to play with, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger as the game goes on, and the weapons get stronger and stronger and better and better. And by the end of the game, this is one of those great games. By the end of it, you're a powerhouse. You're fucking unstoppable. I have every fucking toy available to me. I am unstoppable. You can't see me. If you even try to stop me, bitch, I'll call in an airstrike. Like, you're fucking toast. You're dead. So, by far, this is the most powerful I have ever felt as Snake. As any form of Snake. I feel fucking unstoppable. And there's other toys you can play with, too. There's, like, tools. I admittedly didn't use tools very often. They're, like, the classic box. You can use your cardboard box, which has a million freaking camos you can throw on it, and you can sit there, pop your box on, and hide from enemies. I did use it a handful of times, but there's just so many better useful tools to use. I just found myself not using the cardboard box very much. What else is in the tools? They have like pills you can take to make your aim more steady, more true, if you will. They have stuff like that. I've never used any of that, honestly. They have the scopes. Your main one is like your binoculars. You use your binoculars. You can scout out a camp, and if you hover it over a person, it'll like lock them in, and it'll put a little dot on them, so it'll keep an eye on where they're moving and everything, so you can be aware where everybody is. Yeah, dude, like, oh my goodness, there's just so much great stuff about this game in terms of gameplay. So you pick your loadout and off you go, and eventually you get access to buddies. You'll get a buddy, and one of the great moments of this, well, actually, you start out with a buddy, the D-Horse. You get D-Horse at the beginning of the game. So D-Horse is a horse. It's pretty simple. It makes sense. And the horse, you can ride it around like a horse. It'll get you from point A to point B faster. I will admit, at the beginning of the game, getting around takes a little bit. Even the helicopter takes a while at times to pick you up. And you can actually upgrade the helicopter, and it becomes faster at picking you up. It's crazy. Now, I will admit, at the beginning of the game, calling in the helicopter, that's a pick up your phone and look through some shit while you're waiting for the helicopter to pick you up. It does take a minute. It really does. Like a legit minute or two for that helicopter to get there. You call it in. He's like, all right, be quiet. I'm on my way. 4.5 minutes later, he's like, I'm almost there. All right, I'm coming. Oh, there's something in the way. I can't land. Shit like that. But it's a little bit much. But like when by the end of it, I would like pick up my phone. He's like, I'm here. I'm like, oh, all right, fuck me. I'm okay. I'm not ready. Here we go. So traveling around is a little bit. They don't have a fast travel. There's no fast travel here. You can't just be like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm going boom. I'm going right here. Nope. You have to call in the helicopter. You gotta wait for the helicopter to pick you up. You go into the helicopter and then you can go on a mission. It'll take you then it can, like, the helicopter will drop you off at points. So yes, it does lack a fast travel, but it wasn't detrimental. Like I said, once the helicopter you upgraded a couple times, you're dandy. You're ripping around. And of course, it's an open world and there's vehicles available to you in the field. You can just steal a vehicle. You eventually will have vehicles. You can just drop them off. You can drop off tanks, for fuck's sake. You can just ride a tank around. You can ride missile launchers, little jeeps, big trucks. Like, yeah, take whatever you want. And they drive pretty damn good. They're a little bit wonky, and they're also very forgiving at the same time. Like, sometimes you can just fly up mountains going, like, gravity doesn't make sense for a second. Like, it's like, I shouldn't be going up this fast, but you're flying up the mountain. It's like, okay, jumping over rocks and shit, and then some certain little small rocks will stop you dead. But the driving's solid. It's not, I'm not fucking over the moon about the driving, but it works. It's good. And the vehicles are fun. I love stealing them. I'll tell you about that. I keep teasing what this, it's a balloon thing. That's all I'm gonna, it's the balloon thing. But, God damn, the gameplay. So with the main missions, jeez, there's a lot of freaking great moments here. I mean, the beginning of the game, the first mission is excellent. I love the way that it gives you. It is very long. It is a long tutorial to get through. It's very, very slow because you are, in fact, waking up from a 9-year coma and your body doesn't work. And, like, shit is going down and you're just trying to wake your body up. So it's slow, but it's very interesting, especially if you played through the game now and you go back and you go through that beginning part of the game. There is a lot going on in the background there, man. There is a lot of shit going on there. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's all I'll say about that. But that opening is quite fucking cool. The only thing, though, it sets up a lot of things that it doesn't really do. There's not a lot of, like, boss fights. There are no boss fights like there are in Metal Gear Solid 4. There's no, like, kind of big, like, creature. There's like that giant fire whale that was in the trailer, and like that, you see that giant fire whale and it takes out a helicopter and that's it. You don't fight no giant fire whale. There's like that psycho mantis looking girl at the beginning of the game. You're not fighting like bosses in this game. There might be like, there's kind of like a boss, but there's just kind of like another Metal Gear Solid kind of trope or thing that they always have, boss fights. They kind of take that out here in Metal Gear Solid 5, which, again, for me, it just removes that piece of nostalgia a little bit. But I don't know, when you do look back on it, it's like the boss fights weren't always like that great in Metal Gear Solid anyway. Like, there are some iconic ones, of course. Some people love and hate the end. There's the Psycho Mantis on PS1. That's like an all-timer. Some of the Metal Gear fights are fantastic, but some of them were like really bad. Maybe like the fucking fighting game one randomly in Metal Gear Solid 4. Like, what the hell was that? Anyway, so they don't really have boss fights. Everything's just kind of like a big James Bondy, like, fucking Spec Ops mission. It's really freaking cool. So you go in with your loadout. We talked about, the buddies. So we're talking about man, I'm all over the place. This game's really tough. There's just so much in the gameplay, man. I can't go over, like, it's a 10 out of 10 in terms of gameplay. It's so freaking fun. I can't get over the fact that how much fun this game is. It is insanely fun. I can't get over it. But all right, let's try and get back on track and talk about some of the main missions that really stood out to me in terms of like the earlier ones. So obviously the first mission, and then so you get introduced to the kind of main baddies of the game. They're called the Skulls. They're kind of like these freaky zombie-like soldiers, and they appear in this mist. Like, this mist will show up, and you're like, oh, fuck. And then these, like, kind of creepy dudes show up. They're okay. They're, like, a fine enemy. They're a little creepy. They're kind of strong, but nothing too much. And then you get, like, in a way, it's kind of an odd or a nod to the end fight. You get a sniper fight versus Quiet. And Quiet is You may have seen her in some Metal Gear Solid stuff before. She is the female character that is only wearing a bra. She's barely clothed. And there's actually a very good reason for that. Let me explain. So, Quiet isn't your normal human. She's actually more like a plant. Okay, I know. Follow me on this one. Hang on now. Just follow me. So she kind of she takes in sunlight, and that is how she gets energy. That's how she feeds. And if she puts clothes on, it's basically choking her. She can't breathe. She can't eat. So she has to, like, she would be naked. She needs to be naked, but she keeps a bra on and puts pants on for the sake of the children. So yeah, that is basically why. It's a very silly reason why to have a barely clothed woman out in the world and in this game. But Quiet is a phenomenal character. I actually loved Quiet, not because she was running around in bra and panties, basically, but she's actually very cool. She's a very cool character. She doesn't talk, hence the name Quiet, but I really liked just the development and the character of her going out, like, throughout this game. She's basically, like, when you first find her, like, you obviously, like, the first time you see her, you get into a sniper duel with her, and it's pretty good. I didn't, like, you know, because I've fought the end before. This didn't hit the same, but it's a fun fight. I love me a good sniper fight. They put you in this freaking huge area, and you walk in there, and they're just, you get a freaking laser beam on your head. You're like, oh fuck, and then you get into but it's open. It's in a way it's better than the end fight, because with the end you're kind of restricted into this area. It's big, but it's restricted. And here it is big open. You can climb shit. You can go sneak up behind her, choke her out. You can fucking dart her in the face. It's a fun fight. You can do a lot of fun shit with it. But yeah, she's basically wanted dead immediately on arrival, but Snake sees potential in her, and you can actually use her as a buddy. And she's a great buddy. She's very, very good with a sniper rifle, as we learned during the sniper fight. So she can also, the buddies can be upgraded. And before I go too far into the buddies, I have to talk about D-Dog. D-Dog is maybe the greatest thing ever. D-Dog is one of the best companions of all time, hands down. So you find this adorable little puppy out in the war zone, and you bring it back to your base. And eventually, it gets trained up. It takes a little while before you actually get access to D-Dog, but once you get D-Dog, bro, you're never looking back. I'm sorry, D-Horse, but after I got D-Dog, I never used you again, only to get your bond level up to max so I can get a trophy. But D-Dog is the most useful. So D-Horse, it'll ride you around, you can whistle, it'll come to you, and that's basically all D-Horse can do. You can level it up so it can get some armor. You can get this. Nope, you don't buy it. You can unlock a very badass skin for it that makes it look very cool, and it terrifies people. Outside of that, it doesn't really do much. D-Dog will it'll list every person that's around you, enemy, a wild animal. You can snipe, you can hunt. Don't kill the animals. You're not supposed to kill them. You're supposed to put them asleep and then bring them back to base. That's what you're supposed to do with the animals. But the dog will sniff out any enemies. It'll sniff out weapons, fucking prisoners. It is basically your UAV. It is extreme. That dog is so fucking useful. And it gets these awesome freaking upgrades as you go up. Eventually, it can wield a knife, and it can freaking take people out. It'll kill people. It'll stun people. And eventually, it can evacuate people from the field if you want them. D-Dog is the most useful little dog in the world. I love D-Dog. It is the goodest of boys or girls. I don't know what it is, but what a good dog. I fucking love D-Dog. It's so cute. And you can customize the dog as well. You can change it. I made mine look like a fox. You could put a little eye patch on him. It's so good. It's so freaking good. And with Quiet, her upgrades, eventually you can give her better sniper rifles, and eventually you can give her a dart gun where she can put people to sleep. And she can also go ahead and scout out areas, but she doesn't do it as good and consistently as D-Dog does. Sometimes she gets the enemies, sometimes she finds the prisoners, sometimes she doesn't, sometimes she's just doing her own thing. But I don't know, when shit hits the fan and she's up there in her sniper spot, she's taking bitches out, and she's pretty damn useful at that part. So I like Quiet. She's like my second favorite, but it's D-Dog all the way. D-Dog is the best companion. The only thing I will say is make sure you use Quiet if you are trying to get like a platinum trophy or something, because there are parts in the game where Quiet leaves and she doesn't come back and you can't use her anymore. So make sure you're using her. And I'm not saying she dies or anything. I'm not spoiling anything. It's just parts she goes off. And there's story parts where maybe like homie at base is like, oh no, she's a prisoner again. And you're like, oh, what the heck, man? She's awesome. I need her. Like, so you have to deal with some shit. But there's also like a big quarantine. There's like a fucking disease that goes over the base, and it's a whole fucking situation. Anyway, so you also can bring buddies with you. So it feels, like, I just love having companions with me. I'll always get reminded when I played Halo 2, and those missions where sometimes you get Marines with you. For some reason, this Marine wouldn't leave, and he kept following me even when he wasn't supposed to, and it was basically a co-op partner. For like a major portion of the game, this dude stuck it out with me. And I just love that so much. I was like, dude, I love this guy, even though you're not real. You're just a computer AI, but I'm so happy you're glitching out and you're following me. This is awesome. So, I mean, and speaking of AI, holy fuck, the AI is awesome in this game. AI has always been damn fine in the Metal Gear games. The soldiers aren't stupid. I mean, there are times where I have walked up to them and I'm like, how don't you see me? I'm like, you should see me. But for the most part, they're pretty damn smart and not too smart. There have been times in previous Metal Gear Solid games I'm like, bro, come on. Like, how you know to look underneath that shit? Like, I will say, this game, like I said, it's pretty lenient. Like, it's not that crushing. Like, you can get away with quite a lot in this game compared to other Metal Gears. And whenever in doubt, pull out your grenade launcher and fucking blow everybody up. It's simple. So simple. Not that hard. So, yeah, dude, the companions are fantastic. There's a great moment. So this is the little touches. So I was out in the field doing a bunch of missions, and then like they always say like, hey, come back to Mother Base. There might be something we need to talk about. There might be some development. There might be something. Come back. So I came back, and everyone like swarmed the fucking helicopter as I got off, and there's like flies buzzing around me, and I stunk like shit. And they're like, Snake, you stink, and they just blasted me with water. So you literally have to come back, take a shower, have a mental break, and like interact with your soldiers and stuff, because it helps morale. And I was like, oh man, what a great little touch. Another one literally happened to me today. I guess I was out in the field for too long, and I came back, and D-Dog just like speared me into the helicopter because he missed me so much. I was gone for so long that, like, oh my god, dude, like, such great little shit like that. I absolutely love that. Let's see if there's any other there's a great side mission. This was a main mission. One of my favorite ones that I got to do. They were just like, I think they're like, yeah, 15 minutes, and we need you to blow up as many armored vehicles that are going around as possible. And they're just like, go. And I was like, all right, I need my Jeep, I need this missile launcher, I need C4, and I need all this. And they're like, all right, this guy, they're like, all right, coming down this road, I'd set up a bomb trap for him, blow him up, and I'm already halfway over to the other guy, blow them up. It was so much fucking fun. It was like that mission where I was just like, oh my god, this is like one of the funnest games, like open world games. It is so much. It's just one of the greatest sandboxes I've ever got to play, and it is incredible. So that mission was ridiculously fun. Assassination mission, which turns into a rescue mission. Okay, that's a little bit further. That one was messed up. So I don't really want to spoil that, because that was kind of a moment where I was like, whoa. Kind of takes a dark turn, but there's a mission that, you go in there and you're supposed to kill everybody, and then it kind of turns into a rescue mission. Very funny part. I forgot one of the prisoners. There's one prisoner that can't walk, and all the other ones can run, but you have to make sure you're carrying this one. I fucking got to the helicopter, and they're like, you forgot one. And I looked back, and it was like 500 meters back. I was like, oh shit, you're done. Like, I was like, fuck, we just went through helicopter fight. Like, I was like, there's no turning back. I had to start the mission all over again. And then later, there was a mission where they're like, make sure you don't hurt anybody in this mission. They're like, no killing. And I was like, yep, got it, boss. And I immediately got in my Jeep and ran somebody over by accident. I was like, why was he so close to the road? Why were you so close to the road? And I was just like, God dang it. So, yeah, that was a fun little moment right there. Anyway, so like I said, they have a whole bunch of side ops with a pretty damn good variety, considering there's like fucking 200-300 of them. And like I said, they do kind of revolve around the kind of 10 or so missions. There are some unique ones, like there's some animal hunting ones where you have to hunt down some legendary animals. Admittedly, they were extremely easy if you go out there with D-Dog, because D-Dog will point out exactly where the animal is. You can sit there and shoot it from distance with a dart, and bam, Bob's your uncle. There is a bear that was a little bit trickier to catch. I caught that bear, but those ones were fun. There's like mother base dudes that like, there's guys that were in your previous army that are like wandering around, and they could be a little tricky to actually capture. You need to like actually capture them or you know, tranquilize them, whatever. But they're pretty good at spotting you. They'll spot you from a distance. They'll throw a freaking flash bomb at you and they just run away. So those guys can be a little bit tricky. If you are having trouble with them, if you have access to Quiet, use her. If she has the tranquilizer dart, she can just pop them in the head from anywhere and it's immediately done. So if you are having trouble with them, that's a quick tip for you to be able to get through those. I found that one out on my own. Thank you very much. So now we really need to talk about Mother Base, because this is a whole nother big part of the game, is you building up your base, your own mother base, which of course you can customize. You can make it your own color. I made mine pink. Of course it had to be pink. I wanted it to stand out. They're like, I don't know, they didn't say this, but it's like, we don't want to stand out in the middle of the ocean. What color should we be? It's like, how about blue, sir? And I'm like, no, it's got to be pink. They're like, pink? It's like, yeah, it's got to be pink. So yeah, I actually did change it to green eventually. I like to change it up, man. I change my helicopter colors all the time. You could change, like, you can put camos on your guns. Snake can change his outfits. Like, D-Dog can change his outfits. You can put, oh my god, there's one more buddy. There is one more buddy. It's not a real buddy. It's not a human, but there's like a robot. Kind of like, it's a D-Walker is what it's called. I didn't use it very much. It was useful. Like, you can drive it. It can drive around. It's actually probably the most versatile vehicle. Like, it can jump around shit. It's pretty good. And it can get equipped with like a missile launcher, Gatling gun, flamethrower. It can shoot fucking tranquilizer darts. Like, it's good. It's big. It's useful. It's just like, I don't know. That one was only for like run and gun moments. If I wanted to go in and just fuck people up, I'd go in with the D-Walker and just blow everything up. But didn't use it very often, honestly. I didn't have to build a bond with it, so I just kind of put it to the side and focused on people that I needed to make a bond with. But yeah, they have the D-Walker. It's pretty good. So the Mother Base. The funnest thing, I think, about this game is the extracting. So you get these balloons. They're like extraction balloons. So you're out in the field and you can extract many things. What do I mean by extracting? So let's say you see your prisoner. Your prisoners you have to extract. So to extract them, let's say you pull them out of where they are. You get them to a nice safe spot. And you fucking strap a balloon to them. You launch them into the sky. One of the most satisfying things in all of gaming. And they get picked up by a fucking airplane somehow. And they get sent back to your base. So you can send up prisoners. You can send up enemies. And you can fucking transfer them and make them your freaking army people now and make them good assets. And you can scan these people and it'll show you their stats. Like, oh, this guy's S rank in freaking mechanics. Oh, I want that guy. This guy's a A+ fighter. Oh, I want that dude. Or like, oh, this guy's all D's across the board. Oh, he's dead. And you shoot him in the head. Like, this guy sucks. Get out of here. So you can do that. You can fucking... Eventually, you can upgrade this balloon, and you can, once you get it fully upgraded, you can fucking pick up tanks. You're launching tanks into the air. You're picking up like, you can pick up anything. You could pick up anything. It is so much freaking fun. I just love going on Fulton balloon sprees. Just boom, boom, sending everything up into the sky. It's so freaking fun. Absolutely love it. So that is a very addicting part of the game, is like, you're like scanning soldiers, like, oh, this guy's a fucking pro in this. Some of them are specialists and they have like perks, and those certain perks will give you like a huge array of extra weapons, like a special armor. So like, these guys are coveted assets. You want these dudes and you want to make sure you don't kill them. You want to bring them back safely and all that shit. And fuck, what else can you do with these people? There's also blueprints out there. They'll send you off to find a blueprint for a certain weapon. Yeah, man, like, holy shit, there's just so freaking much going on in this game. So we talked about the buddies. The game is split up into, like, 2 parts. There's Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 of the main story. Chapter 1, I didn't even notice that, like, because Chapter 1 was so long. Chapter 1's very long, and Chapter 2 is kind of like a little bit of, it's shorter, but, alright, let's see what other kind of things we got over here. Okay, let's talk, well, it's not a Metal Gear game without a Metal Gear fight, right? So you do get to fight a type of Metal Gear. I will say it wasn't my favorite design. It didn't look like, it looked like a Metal Gear, yeah, but it definitely didn't, I don't know, it just didn't stand out. It didn't seem all that iconic. I never personally hear about it, like, it doesn't show up very often. Like, it is no Metal Gear Rex. Rex is the best one by far. It's no Rex, but the fight was pretty good. I liked it. There was a kind of a boss fight against, in the beginning of the game, you will be greeted by this fireman. This dude's on fire. He looks kind of like Deadpool and Spawn mixed together, and he's on fire and shit. Really cool. You do have a few interactions with that guy, but it's more of a, like, survive thing, like, stay away from him, kind of stun him until the helicopter comes to pick you up. It was fine, like, it was very standard. Like, I would just kind of run around in circles avoiding him. I would shoot a red barrel, kind of slow him down, plant a bomb in front of him, slow him down again. It was okay. Like I said, there's no real, like, boss fights, normal, like how I'm used to, like the Metal Gear Solid 4 boss fights. There was nothing really like that at all. So again, I don't know if that's like a negative necessarily. Like not everybody likes boss fights, and not every game needs to have boss fights. And I've always thought of Metal Gear Solid as like, does it really? Is this a game that needs a boss fight? Like, it's a stealth game. Like, Hitman doesn't have boss fights. They have like a guy to take out. That's the boss, I guess. So like I said, I don't know if stealth games really need a boss fight. Let me know if that's a thing. But that was basically the end of Chapter 1, and then you get into Chapter 2. So like I said, there was this like virus that gets a hold of everybody at your base, and like, you have to do a whole quarantine, and then you do deal with it, but then it comes back. And there is a mission, it's called Shining Lights, Even in Death. Holy fuck. That mission takes a, like, total tone shift. It almost is like a horror game. Like, it almost gives you that PT vibe. It's like you go into this quarantine facility, and it is dark, bro. Like, it almost feels like Dead Space. Like, it's just everything's dark, and the shadows are really creepy. There's fucking, like, really gruesome sounds and some visuals you'll be seeing in there. And there is a decision that you have to make in there. I mean, you don't really have to do anything, but there's a decision that I made in there. I felt like I was justified, and that's where I really got annoyed with Doc Emmerich, because he was like flipping out the whole time I was doing it, and I'm like, bro, like, I don't want to spoil the moment, because it was truly one of like I was like, oh, whoa, this is some shit right here. I was like, god damn. I don't know if I should, but there is a prisoner, a very special prisoner that you save that makes a very special cameo in the game. And it was such a fucking awesome surprise. You take the freaking bag off his head, and you're like, oh, it's him. You're like, oh my god, it's him. And you save him. It was awesome. That was really, really good. I do actually have one mission that I did not like. I died plenty in this game, like dying for, like, it happens. The checkpoints are pretty nice. Like, if you die, it's just like, all right, start right here. You can restart the mission if you want to change your loadout. Oh, and also, the helicopter will drop things off for you anywhere you want at virtually any time. If you run out of ammo, you can ask for an ammo supply drop. Bam, right at your feet. If you want a new weapon, bam, right at your feet. You want a fucking Jeep, bam, right at your feet whenever you want. And again, at the beginning, it's a little bit slow. Might take 40 seconds for the freaking little balloon to finally drop your crate. But by the end, like, fuck, that thing can't come. It's so fast. Whew, there it is, bam. So that's really cool. So at there's been times where I was like literally in the middle of a firefight, or like people are hunting me down. I'm like, oh shit, I need something to take these guys out. And little thing falls down. I'm like, bam, I go, okay, good, I got my thing. And there's been times I've resupplied in the middle of battle, in the middle of a battle. And yeah, dude, they give you so much. There's so many freaking awesome things, and you can call in airstrikes and shit like that. They'll like lower your grade. Also, there's that. Oh my god. So at every mission, you will get graded. Like, it'll, if you take hits, it'll take money off. You earn money for every mission that you're going out on because, things cost money. It costs money to research and develop weapons. It costs money to fucking use the balloons. It costs money to resupply. You need money. You need to have money. And you can send people out on missions to collect money and resources. There's a whole online thing. I'm not going to talk about online stuff. I did not touch any online stuff, so I'm not talking anything there in the online. But yeah, also with the supply drops, you can even change your buddies on the fly. You're like, oh, I don't want D-Dog right now, or I need D-Dog. For me, it was always like, oh, I need D-Dog. I need my D-Dog down here with me right now, and that, quiet would go away, and then freaking D-Dog would get sent down on a balloon. So that is just fantastic stuff. There was only one mission that I was just like kind of annoyed with, and it's just you're in a building with quiet, like this rundown building, and they just send a fucking wave of like armored vehicles at you, tanks and freaking missile launcher guys, and then snipers on top of that. And during that mission, like one hit from a tank missile will kill you. I mean, that makes sense. It's just that there were so damn many of them, and they're so damn accurate. Like, I would pop my little head out for just a second to shoot them, and they would blow me away. So that mission killed me a whole bunch of times. It's like I said, it's not a hard game. I died a whole bunch of times, but it was just general mistakes. I blew myself up. I decided I was going to charge through a big camp with a little jeep, and I got exploded. I don't know. I got blown up by a tank a million times, got gnawed down by dogs. Shit happens, man. Shit happens out there in the battlefield. It's war. War never changes. It's hard out there. Fuck. But, yeah, that was, like, really the only mission that I wrote down that I was like, yo, fuck this shit. This shit sucks. But, so anyway, let's touch a little bit on the ending without spoiling anything. The only thing that I can say, my reaction to it, I was very surprised. I was like, oh, snap. I didn't hate it at all. Like, I honestly don't see what the hate was. I didn't see the drop-off in quality. I thought all the missions were still very, very fun. I thought the story, like, all the Metal Gear Solid stories are fucking batshit crazy. Like, what? So I felt it was really cool. It really actually kind of, like, left me in a way where I wanted to kind of experience the games again. It plays well into the story. It was a really cool twist that, like I said, kind of made me satisfied in a way with the voice change of David Hayter. It was a little bit confusing, though. Obviously, there was a lot of shit they dropped on you there at the end. Actually, excuse me. Again, one more time. Excuse me. I did notice that drop in quality. My apologies. Here it is. I remember it now. So there was like a long conversation that kind of broke down a lot of important shit, but there was no cutscene. It was just kind of a black screen and two main characters talking to each other. That there felt like, okay, rushed. I do understand. I think there was some rushed development towards the ending of the game to get it out. So this here is where I'm like, okay, but that was a very small part at the end of the game. In no way would that ruin my entire experience. It wasn't like a big, awful, bad boss fight that I had to do a million times. It was just like kind of a uninspired moment, like kind of cutscene that gave you a lot of information that like would have been better with a nice cutscene. Like there's no fucking graveyard scene or anything like that from Metal Gear Solid 4 and Metal Gear Solid 5. And that was like kind of something that I missed in this game, and that always generally misses with me in open world games, is that I didn't connect with the story and the characters as much as I did with the other more linear story-driven Metal Gear Solid games, because there were so much fun side activities that I was doing. I would, do side shit for hours, come back, do a story mission, and then be like, okay, I see what's going on. And yeah, they have tons of intel packages. There's like cassette tapes that you can listen to with all this information. Like it's all there for you, but it's not streamlined enough. It doesn't connect fast enough for me. I would recommend, but you really can't, because you need to be upgrading and getting better assets along the way, but it'd be nice to just like kind of play through the whole entire story in a row. But there's 40 some odd main missions. Like, there's a lot. This game is big, dude. I played this game and I'm still playing it. I'm probably at about 65 hours right here, and that's me doing almost like lots of side quests, side missions, side ops. And they have these really fun challenges for the main missions. They're not like actual main missions. They're replays of some of the main missions you already did, but with like super increased difficulty. Like, some of them are like pure stealth, like do not get caught. If you get caught, instant game over, mission done. And they don't give you like the reflex mode where like if they spot you, things will go in slow-mo for a second. There's none of that. So like some of those ones were very, very hard. I haven't done them all yet, but I've done quite a few. Some were easier than others. Like some of the ones where it's just like, oh, the enemies are stronger. I'm like, I'm a god here. I'll just fucking rocket launcher you to death. Those ones were okay. There's a few stealth missions where I knew what I was doing. I'm like, okay, I know exactly where to go. Bam, snipe the bitch from distance. It's over. Game over. I've won. So you can do those. Those are very difficult missions, so they added those on top. This is by far the most content you're going to get in a Metal Gear Solid game. This game is huge. There is so much to do, and it is so much freaking fun. I cannot stress that enough. It is so much freaking fun. I would say it is probably the funnest stealth action game I have ever played. Like, those Hitman games are really top quality. Like, when I'm talking about like open worldy, like kind of open level, this is where it's at, man. Like, if you like the Hitman games, give Metal Gear Solid 5 a shot. I will completely understand if you're like, yo, Metal Gear Solid's not my jam, like the 1, 2, 3, 4. I understand that, because those games are a little bit like a niche. Like, it's a special audience. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I understand that. But this is just like a fucking excellent video game. Like, it is just so well made. The shooting controls are excellent. The AI is excellent. The level design is excellent. The levels are so much fun. And you will revisit places like a few times. Like, they'll be like, oh, hey, this is I did a main mission here, and now you're like here doing a prisoner extraction, or you're coming back to get some blueprints or something like that. So you revisit areas, but it's a big game too. Like, it's a big Afghan area or Afghanistan place to play in. There's a big African area to play in, and Mother Base is big. Mother Base is admittedly a pain in the ass. That place is a pain in the ass to get around. Because eventually you're developing other bases. You got like a whole research and development. You got a medical place. You got a whole army team over here. You got security. So you got all these big, huge platforms that, yes, you can take a helicopter to, but you can also drive to them. And they have like these target practice side missions at each platform. And some of them are just a fucking pain to get up to. Like, some of them you have to climb up all these stairs, and I'm just like, oh my God, dude, what is this shit? So that can be a little bit annoying, but dude, this is such a outstanding video game. I cannot believe how much I love. Well, what I can't believe is how I didn't fall in love with this game like this the first time that I played it. Like, what the hell was wrong with me? It may have been open world exhaustion at the time, because there was a ton of that shit going around at that time, man. Like, it just might have been pure exhaustion on that style of game. And yeah, all I remember is like that first time when I gave it a good go is when I came back. I must have not played it for a week and went away from it at a bad time, and I just came back and I was completely overwhelmed. I was like, what's this Mother Base shit? What's all this? And it's really not hard. Like, it's quite simple. It's not a very, difficult thing to understand. A lot of it is done for you. Like, staff management, that's all automated. They'll do that all for you. Yeah, dude, it is just a fucking phenomenal game. So, with all that being said, I will just kind of quickly run through pros and cons. We already basically talked about all this stuff. I talked about Mother Base being a pain to navigate. Doc Emmerich sucks. I just did not like his character in Metal Gear Solid 5. I liked him in all the other ones pretty much, but this one, he particularly can fuck off. The story and characters, like I said, they are not bad in any way. I really enjoyed the story. There are some really fucking cool twists. There were some really dark, really messed up moments that I was like, whoa, but I did not connect with any of the characters the way that I did. Like Metal Gear Solid 3, for example, like the connection between, what is it? Is it Mother? I haven't played it in such a long time. My apologies, but Big Boss and Little Boss, whatever, the woman, the female, like I bawled like a baby between that relationship, and then that relationship between Snake and his mom or whatever the fuck in Metal Gear Solid 4, like bawling like a baby. I didn't have that character connection with anyone in this game. Even there are familiar faces here. There's there are familiar faces. That's all. I'll leave it at that. It's really cool, but like there was no very good story connection moments. Like it just didn't feel like that Metal Gear Solid in that way. Like it definitely, like it's most certainly a Metal Gear Solid game, but there's something missing. There was definitely something missing with that, with it becoming an open world game. Yes, by far it is the best gameplay in the franchise, but probably the weakest storytelling and like character development and stuff like that. This is probably my least favorite Snake. Like he doesn't really say a whole lot. He doesn't really, you know what I'm saying? It's probably my least favorite Snake overall. But outside of that, man, it's the best gameplay in the series. The AI is outstanding. The graphics are great. Controls are brilliant. I mean, the level design, the freedom and creativity by far is like my favorite aspect of this game. There's just so many ways you can fucking do missions, man. You can go, if you just feel like killing everybody, you can just go in and just mow everybody down. It is a lot of fun. Tons of content. There's so much to do here. I can easily play this game for, it says I'm 65% done. So on top of like the main missions, every main mission has like side goals. So at first they won't tell you anything, but you can replay any mission at any time, and like it'll have a list of extra things like, oh, there was a prisoner you can extract. Go do that on the side and do all this. It kind of reminds me of like GoldenEye. GoldenEye, like if you want to do the harder level, there's like more things you have to do. So to get the 100% completion rate, you got to complete every side task. In the main missions, you got to complete every side op. There is a lot of content. I'm at 65% and I've played 65 hours. So I could easily, with trying to get all the other things, there's easily another like 30 plus, maybe more, infinite hours. This game's brilliant. I love it. I am still playing it and just loving every minute of it. Overall, I am giving Metal Gear Solid 5 a 9.5 out of 10. This is a must play for any stealth action game fan out there. I highly recommend this game. Not only it's so cheap now, you can get it for $5. They're in like bargain bins, dude. Dude, put some respect on Metal Gear Solid 5's name. This is one of the funnest open world stealth games of all time. Probably the best stealth game ever made in terms of gameplay. This thing is incredibly fun. Go out, play it for yourself. 9.5 most certainly will be a contender in the game of the year at the X's, which are actually not that far away. We're only like 4 months away until like the new year. It's crazy how fast this year has been going by, but I know there's probably a million things that I have left out in this game because there are so many little amazing details there are to this game. Like, easily, I think this probably should be a 10 out of 10. We'll see, like, how it ages, but I can see this being a timeless one. It's just there are some story quirks and that loss of connectivity that will drop it down just that little bit, but that's how tight the gameplay is, man, that it still is a 9.5. You have to play this thing if you're a fan of action stealth. Like, holy, even if you just like action games, you can play this game as an action game, and it's a ton of fun as well. One of the most epic things is, like, shooting down an enemy helicopter with a rocket, like without a lock on or anything, just like, just fucking naturally shoot that thing. And the animation of those helicopters going down is just absolutely beautiful. Love this fucking game. I am so happy I finally knocked it off my backlog list. I almost want to go through all the Metal Gear Solid games again, man. Like, that's just such a mighty task. I'm waiting patiently for the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, and we'll see how that goes. And hopefully they'll start remaking more of them. That would be fantastic. But I'm really happy they're starting with Metal Gear Solid 3. But go out and play Metal Gear Solid 5 if you have not yet. It is still so fucking good. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Like I loved you guys, or love. I still love. I didn't loved. I love. Love you guys listening to this podcast. You guys are all phenomenal. You women out there, everybody's phenomenal. Okay, I'm not putting anybody in a box. You're all awesome. But if you want to be even more awesome, just a little bit more awesome, hit that like button, hit that review, do whatever you can. Tell a friend or two about the podcast, someone that might enjoy it, all that great stuff. But yeah, there's also a Twitter page you can follow along on. There's a YouTube channel where I upload all of these videos for you to watch if you would like to. A great place to drop a comment is on those YouTube channel videos or whatever. And if you want to have a question answered live on the podcast, I'll shout your name out, answer your question, all that great stuff. I put out a poll on the YouTube channel to see how people felt about Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, and it was a draw. I mean, there were only 2 votes, and it was split down the middle, but 50-50. So, I mean, that makes sense. I would expect something very, even if there was 1,000 votes, I would expect it to be very, very close. But if you haven't gone back and listened to that Crash Bandicoot versus Spyro the Dragon episode yet, you better go back there and listen to it, and you can go back and listen to any of the GamerCast episodes because they age like a fine wine, I am told. Anyway, I don't know. I have not been told that, but I'm just guessing over here. I have no idea. But let me know. Anyway, there's also an email address if you want to have a private conversation, something like that. Bad day. My door is open for everybody and anybody, so there you go, everybody. In terms of what else we got going on with the podcast this week, it's the big AEW Wembley All-In pay-per-view. That is the big one for AEW. Their WrestleMania, basically. They're going to Wembley, one of the biggest, most iconic arenas, stadiums in all of the world. So, yeah, it's a big deal. This is their second time going there. Will it be as good as the first time? I have my hesitations. There's only one way to find out. You'll have to listen to my review whenever the heck that comes out. I'll have it out as soon as I can. There's a lot of wrestling to watch. It's a big pay-per-view, but that will be on its way along with the regular wrestling recap of your WWE and AEW shows. And there was a hockey cast this week. I did a couple more of the NHL team overviews, and there was some fucking drama that went down in the NHL this week. You're going to have to listen to it to find out what the heck is going on in the NHL right now, but that's going to do it for me, folks. Thank you again, everyone, for listening. You the best, and we'll be back with some more GX Plus games.